What's up guys, it's Nico here. If you guys are new to the channel, feel free to check out my video on the 5 shooting guards that the Lakers should target after the Anthony Davis trade. In what seems like a massive haul to get a superstar like AD, the Lakers are now thin at almost every position except the small forward and power forward spots that's currently occupied by one of the greatest players of all time in LeBron James and a top 5 player in Anthony Davis. Our mission here is to find them the best complementary pieces if ever a third max star doesn't sign with them this offseason. Now, that is a real possibility, especially if these free agents available want to lead their own team, so fine. In this video, we're still sticking with the argument that the Lakers will be going for reliable role players instead of finding that third max star. You could judge the selections after this video and see if going this route will indeed be better for the Lakers. Anyway, here are the 4 centers that they can afford and check out if they want to beef up their bench. At number 4 is JaVale McGee. Despite facing scrutiny as one of the one-year deals that didn't perform to expectation last season because of championship expectations from the media, I still want the Lakers to bring back JaVale McGee since this guy is far and beyond from the Shaqtin' a Fool days. Even though the Lakers didn't make it in the playoffs, it's hard to blame McGee on that department since he's been productive in the 22 minutes per game that he's played in. The go-to lob threat and interior defender for majority of his career, McGee finished last season with averages of 12.0 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 2.0 blocks per game for the Los Angeles Lakers. According to the Silver Screen and Roll article that I read, the only players to average at least 10 points on 60% shooting from the field, 5 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game this season were just McGee and Defensive Player of the Year finalist Rudy Gobert. Encouraging numbers to say the least, since he did this in just 22 minutes per game, and obviously not being in the same caliber as a Stifle Tower. The LeBron James effect is indeed real for him. McGee even had a monster game last season where he racked up 33 points, 20 rebounds, and 6 blocks. McGee might not be the floor spacing center the Lakers fans wants to see with James and Davis, but he's efficient in quick spurts as well as anyone in the league. If the Lakers can find anyone to fill out their center spot, he is capable in holding down the fort and let Anthony Davis roam in the mid-range area. McGee is already 31 years old, but with the way things are going, he still has enough to keep up with the younger guys in the league. Lastly, McGee would be a nice insurance option to pick up. The Lakers could possibly sign him for just $3 to $4 million per year if they choose to. At number 3 is Dewayne Dedmon. Coming off the best 2 years of his career, Dedmon will be as cheap compared to JaVale McGee, but is an option that the Lakers would have to spend so much for as well. Last season with the Hawks, Dedmon averaged 10.8 points, 7.5 rebounds, 1.4 assists, 1.1 steals, and 1.1 blocks on 49% field goal shooting percentage and 38% from the 3-point area, and 81% from the free throw line. It's everything you want in a big man. He can efficiently shoot the basket, a reliable option from 3, and consistent from the free throw line. Turning 30 years old this year, you can't expect the Lakers to play him over 30 minutes a night since that would run him down to the ground before the playoffs and that's not gonna be good for LA. Instead, a good 24 to 27 minutes of action on the floor is more than enough for him to give the team what they need out of the center spot. For Lakers fans who don't know much about him, this is a competent rim protector and one of the few centers in the league who can space the floor efficiently. Especially with LeBron James being the primary playmaker who thrives on attacking the basket, having a big man who can pull his defender outside the paint should do wonders to open things up. The small issue with Dedmon is going to be the money he commands. I'm looking at a $7 to $8 million per year for this guy. It's twice the money that McGee can command, but hey, he has a good 3-point shot, so it's to be expected. At number 2 is Al Horford. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reported early on Tuesday that Horford will not exercise his $30.1 million player option for the following season in favor of unrestricted free agency. Considering the lofty expectations facing the team when the season started, Horford was understandably disappointed with how the Celtics campaign turned out. He's set to enter his age 33 season and a deal with the Lakers might take some time in negotiating since this is a guy that can still command $50 to $60 million in 4 years kind of contract. But if they are able to convince him that this team will be contenders for the championship until LeBron retires at least, then I'm sure he's willing to do a little pay cut in exchange for stability and a ring with the king and the brow. Al Horford is entering season number 12 in the league, which means he would be a step slow compared to his previous years with the Hawks and Celtics. Nevertheless, Horford is still a really smart player who can command the defense of the Lakers and be in the right position most of the time. Despite his age, he is still a capable knockdown shooter from the mid-range and three-point threat when he needs to be. The Lakers can also expect a great secondary passer from the elbow from Horford and let LeBron move off the ball from time to time if he chooses to do so. Even though he's a former All-Star back in his heyday, the reason he's number 2 in this list is because he has already put a lot of miles on his body. Kevin O'Connor said in his article that bigger centers tend to last longer than ones who depend on speed and athleticism. Horford has given up on his body to battle in the paint for more than a decade already, and he's had to do it more often than someone like Draymond Green, who plays only spot minutes at center. Lastly, Horford averaged 13.6 points, 6.7 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and 1.3 blocks per game last season for the Celtics, appearing and starting in 68 games. At his age, I see him playing 65 to 70 games with the Lakers if he chooses to sign with them. At number 1 is Brook Lopez. Lopez is coming off a huge season with the Milwaukee Bucks. He was an important part of their run to the Eastern Conference Finals and showed his ability to knock down the three-point shot and play defense. Los Angeles could use both of those skills alongside their 2 stars. During the 2018-2019 season with the Bucks, Lopez was able to put up 12.5 points, 4.9 rebounds, and 2.2 blocks per game. He also shot 45.2% from the field overall and knocked down 36.5% of his attempts from the three-point arc. Lopez is an anomaly among 7-footers in the NBA, able to alter shots in the paint on defense and the ability to drag his man out of the paint on offense. Lopez looks to be a perfect fit for the Lakers moving forward. The biggest issue here is that with bringing Brook Lopez back is the fact that the Lakers front office basically ignored him in free agency last season. Lopez likely isn't going to forget that, and despite Magic being out of the picture, it's going to be a tough sell to bring him back. He would be an interesting fit on the purple and gold. Davis would be able to cover up his defensive deficiencies in the perimeter. His three-point shooting would be a welcome addition to a roster that has very little of it as of now, but his work on the block could help their bench lineups. He could take the physical beating of defending centers so that Davis doesn't need to. Although Lopez only took $3 million and saw his numbers drop a bit, he is considerably more valuable after this past season. While he wasn't utilized as much, he was extremely effective in his stretch big role, and a number of teams should be interested in the services of the 7-footer. The only real threat here is Milwaukee. Lopez could end up waiting on them first since they made the Eastern Conference Finals last season and were close in reaching the finals. He'll be 32 by the start of next season, so expect Lopez to command a contract of $7 to $8 million per year. Just my hunch. Cheap enough for the Lakers to secure him for a multi-year deal. Who do you guys think the Lakers should sign here? Let me know in the comment section below and let's talk about it. As always, if you enjoy watching more content like this, consider subscribing to the channel and we will meet again. This is Pacific Hoops, signing off.